Oh, there's a horse. Get the horse.
You will come back always. Right. We'll take a video this time.
Hey, you're here with Ben, and today we're going to be in Birmingham. It's actually just one city over from my home of Derby. Today we're going to be exploring a local travel staple, both of the area and of course of my childhood. And that could be none other than the Black Country Museum. Now hold on, don't click away. I know I said the word museum and that's not everybody's cup of tea, but bear with me because you're going to want to see this. Because this site takes the concept of museum all the way to the next level. Because this is a living history museum. An entire village and town frozen in time and ready for you to explore. Each jitty, house, store and chip shop ready for your service. So as the name implies, this museum is focusing on the Industrial Revolution and its impact on the Midlands. It was once said that the Midlands is black by day and red by night. The coal and then their fires. So this is going to be pretty great, but how exactly did I get here? I recommend simply taking this as a bit of a day trip from whatever quaint village or city you're close to. As you're in England, it's never that far, is it? There are plenty of buses that will be able to take you here, but the easiest way is definitely going to be by car because the ease of scheduling just can't be beat in this regard. Once you're here, the site itself features about 26 acres of recreated industrial Midlands to preserve the immense role that my home region played during the Industrial Revolution. And as the coal mines closed towards the 1960s, so did the old ways of the Black Country. And since coal isn't really likely to come back, nor do we want it to, the Black Country Society was created to preserve its impact and culture so that we can keep its lessons alive and accessible. So let's go check it out. So now that we're here, what do we do? Well, the Black Country Museum is divided into several immersive scenes, which paint the story of the Black Country leading the way into the Industrial Revolution. First of these immersive exhibits, welcoming you at the entrance, is the Pit, a complex featuring 3 retired mine shafts and a completely safe, recreated mine shaft, allowing you to go yourself into the deep, dark and learn firsthand all about coal extraction. If that wasn't enough, you will be on hallowed technological ground as well, because most interestingly, the first ever steam-powered engine was invented here and put to use in 1712. Though it wasn't for transportation as you might think, but instead it was for pumping water out of these very mines. It all ties together. After checking out the equipment, get in line for the mine tour that I mentioned. It's no extra cost and they run roughly every 30 minutes. Once you're down there, you're going to enjoy some recreations and monologues educating guests about the working conditions of those men down in the mines. I'll give you a hint, they were awful. But the tour itself was fantastic. My favorite part was when they take you down into one of the chambers and have everyone turn off their flashlights, just to really bring home how dark it really was. Okay, now something that's actually shockingly easy to miss is going to be going down into the pit mine itself. You see, before you actually move over to the village and the town and all the fair, there's an unassuming corner just across from the entrance there. Behind me now, the mine entrance. Like I said, easy to miss. Oh, one more thing before I forget. You'll have to forgive me on the footage quality because there's not going to be a lot of light down there, but I'll do my best. All right, now that we're done, I can thoroughly say that I would recommend it. Though, perhaps not for tiny children, some of them got a bit scared. You get a hard hat because obviously mines are quite cramped, and you get a torch or a flashlight, but it's not a particularly good one, outputting roughly the same light as one candle, which is what they would have had back then. Once you get down there, they make you turn them off to let your eyes adjust. That spooked out quite a few kids. With that all behind us, let's walk over to the town and see what the rest has to offer. Now let's get back on track talking about the town, as it's proper extensive. You'll learn all about what living in a black country town was like. Head into any number of houses, pubs and stores running along Old Birmingham Road, and the friendly, knowledgeable staff will tell you in detail about their lives, how their shops operated, with a radio store, tobacconist, motorcycle shop, gentlemen's outfitters, a grammar school, and a union workers' society. Also, a fish and chip shop. How could it be complete without one? Each with their own stories to tell, no less. One of my favourites was about the men, and especially women at the time, in the union house working together to lobby for better wages and working conditions. We sure owe them a lot. Though, to be completely honest, my favourite is probably going to have to be that fish and chip shop I mentioned. They serve it the old-fashioned way, and by that, I mean deep-fried in beef fat using coal-fired fryers. It's a heavy meal, so I'd probably recommend you save it towards the end of the day. Crossing the canal into the centre of town, we'll stroll along the aptly named Canal Street. You'll find residential houses and more shops. Check out the sweet shop, bakery, glass cutters, the general store, Anchor Forge, the cinema and pub. What's great is we're going to be able to hear first-hand from the actors about the daily lives of women and children of these coal mining towns. Their side of the story is super interesting too. Don't be afraid to ask them as many questions as you like, or just engage in idle chit-chat. It really adds a lot to the experience. Wandering around the canal docks, you'll discover what role these waterways played in shaping the area and the lives of its inhabitants. Not to mention how its workers transported the mined coal both locally and nationally. They have some awesome houseboats for you to check out too. And speaking of chatting with the actors, I spent a good half hour, maybe even 45 minutes, having a great old chat with the canal man, learning all about the different styles of boats and what life would have been like living on the open canal. Finish off this section with a drink at the Bottle and Glass Inn. They serve a traditionally brewed 1910 recipe ale with no added gas to the draft, preferring to serve it the same way as they would have done back then. Honestly, when it's as cold of a day as it was for me, that wasn't much better than sitting by the open fireplace and having a beer after a long day shooting. It was awesome. Overall, I think that's going to settle me for the day. So let's keep checking this place out, and then I'll see you in the conclusion.
Hey everybody, we're back in Munich after our trip to the Midlands. This is going to be our last video in that area for a little while. Our last video was a Pride and Prejudice day trip. We rambled a little bit around Bakewell and then headed over to, what was it called?
Chatsworth.
Chatsworth, forgot the name. And then headed over to Chatsworth. In this video, I thought it'd be really great to talk about Black Country Museum and why we chose a living history museum, because we feel pretty passionate about that sort of thing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Right, I mean, if it was completely up to me, every single video we'd make on this channel would be about a living history museum and how to get there and what to do, because I think they're just fantastic. When they're done right, they're done perfectly, and I love them so much. I really do. So anybody who's traveled with me before, or if you've watched enough of my videos, you probably get the idea that I don't really travel for relaxation. You know, there's not going to be any videos of me lying on a beach. I don't go to Disneyland or a resort or anything like that. That's not really what I want to do. If you want to do that, that's fine. But that's not what I do. I relax at home. What I prefer to do, honestly, is to try to get out there, walk as much as I can, see as much as I can, and all around just learn what on earth, where am I, what's this place about? And the Living History Museum is pretty perfect for that because they don't really have any itinerary complexity, right? I'm not trying to string a bunch of things together. You just go there and they've got everything out for you on a platter. And not only are you getting to see the area, you're also getting to see the past. So it's like traveling two places. So overall, I just think that they're fantastic. And I love this one especially because it is quite close to home and I went there a lot when I was a kid. But what about you? What did you think of this place?
I thought this experience was very invaluable. As somebody who hasn't grown up like you did in this corner of the globe and only learned about the Industrial Revolution and the role the Midlands played in that event, it was very sort of impersonal for me to be reading about this in history class in high school. So going to the Black Country Museum and sort of getting to experience the working conditions that the coal miners worked in, seeing the tiny houses that a 10-person family was expected to live in, seeing the really heavy domestic labor that the wives and women were expected to perform, was really sobering, and it helped me to understand at a much deeper level sort of the injustices that were happening in these small villages in the Midlands during the Industrial Revolution. And I think a great microcosm for all of this, and my favorite part of the Black Country Living Museum, was the Union Workers building. which is where men and women came together to sort of lobby for better working conditions and better wages. So overall, I feel like I walked away from this museum supplementing, sort of learning the things I had learned about in university and high school about the Industrial Revolution, but with a much sort of more emotional and personal understanding. So yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Right, it's definitely a deeper understanding in a way than just like looking at artifacts and reading about how it's bad. When you go down there and then they play the big rumbles as if there's dynamite going off, you feel it a lot more and it freaks out the kids. So overall, I think that's going to pretty much do it for this video, guys. As always, follow us on Instagram where we post different pictures about, behind the scenes and what we're doing next, and it's pretty fun. And also like, comment, subscribe on here as always. I do want to say a thank you though to the people who have been commenting, because I really appreciate it and it just means a lot. You've asked some really great questions and you've also had some good encouragement, which just, as a small channel, that really does go a long way. So please also do subscribe for more videos coming out in the future, and we'll see you later.
Bye.